happy hour. Natty Tax happy hour.
Dig. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm sick of these kids.
Yeah? Which ones?
All of them that talk about Star Wars. Man, I'm tired of them.
Are you just done with Star Wars or the kids?
No, I'm tired of these kids, Brian.
Okay, go on.
Tired of them.
Go on.
All right, if you were in a forum or you were texting your friend, me and you were texting, and you could only refer to Return of the Jedi by a numerical value, what would you assign to that?
3.
Of course.
Because it's the third one to come out. It's also happens to be the third best. It's 3. Yeah.
These kids, Brian.
No.
These kids
who
have grown up their entire lives with the prequels, have grown up their entire lives now with the
I just realized I have involuntary fists happening.
I mean, look. So one of the because the Daily Orange is a great institution and I get a chance to connect with current students and everything, there's like people in my Twitter timeline that are far younger, right? That are literally just out of college. And so they're going back and forth on the Star Wars order, and I'm like chiming in to that. And I fuck up not once, but twice. I'm like, oh, 3 needs to be higher, thinking 3 means in my friend Kennedy's rankings, thinking 3, as you would think, is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, it's 6. So then I'm like,
because 3 is Revenge of the Sith, and I have the higher ground.
Exactly.
And I have that awesome Frankenstein scene of like, no.
I have realized though, I really hate Rise of Skywalker. like when I was like making my list, I was like, without a doubt, the cynical garbage heap that is Rise of Skywalker will forever be below the prequels, will forever be below anything. Like it was just offensive.
That's the most recent one. The one where Bill O'Reilly has a podcast. Yeah.
Where Bill O'Reilly has a podcast. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm now far enough away from it to be like, no, I could watch the prequels and be bored by them, but I know that there was, George Lucas cared about things about it. George Lucas really, really, even if it was just like, I want to make it so actors could just stand there and I'll CGI their mouths moving. Like, even if it was just that, like there was an element of experimentation and weirdness to the prequels. Like
it was at least well-intentioned and not a jaded, naked cash grab.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
you would rather watch somebody terrible at karaoke who was really trying than somebody who, knew how to stay on pitch, but also, didn't really, understood that this is garbage.
Like I'll give 8 or
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Last Jedi. I'm like, look, it's flawed. The longer I've gotten away from it, the less I've liked it. But I feel like it was the only movie that had actual things that it wanted to do with the universe. It had things that it wanted to do with the iconic characters. It made decisions that were like bold about these kind of characters. 7 was just literally a reboot for the toys. It's like let's not screw it up. If we can just not screw it up, then
7 was a press release.
It was a press release.
Yeah.
And I was fine. I liked the performances. It was good. 8 did a thing. 9 was disgusting. And then in the prequels.
Now you got me thinking. I didn't really thought about it in a while, but 9 is really awful. like on
Nice.
just so many levels. It's somebody who had a stroke and is just speaking words in random order, and you're kind of happy because they're at least Star Wars words, but that's all you get.
Yeah, like at least in the prequels. And look, and people are like, "Oh, these are boring." Yes, they are. They're actually boring. But at the same time, at the idea, the concept that George Lucas is in his weird Santa Rosa, mansion, and he's like up in his little, office area, and he's like, oh yeah, trade disputes. That's great. Like, and he's like, this is good shit. I love this. This is great.
His name will be Newt Gunray because
Yeah.
it's like Newt Gingrich, and I don't like Newt Gingrich. it's,
Right?
I don't think anybody will notice. I think it's
It
very
is.
clever because Gunray
Yeah.
is like a sci-fi thing, but I'm spelling Newt different.
And also, I'll make them all. I'll make them Asian.
Yeah, well,
That'll
because
bury it.
yeah, just vaguely Asian, so that nobody
Just-
will know whether I hate the Singaporeans, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Vietnamese, the Chinese, the South Sea Island, the
It's
Polynesians,
that's interesting to me. At the
the
very
North
least,
Koreans.
the idea of George Lucas writing like sub early aughts Huffington Post political dialogue, and then just saying in
The f- the Phil-
find Congress, replace in space. Like
the Filipinos.
that's interesting to me.
The Cambodians. There's so many, nobody will know.
It's at least there is, even if just in latent racism, like there's more that you can pick apart. I mean, look, for whatever you can say about Phantom Menace, it gave us the Phantom Menace Plinkett reviews. Like there's at least enough to pick through, where it's like it's curious decisions as opposed to just cynical like.
It
Like,
never
oh.
occurred to me until recently that is the Plinkett voice kind of trying to do a George Lucas impression?
No, because the Plinkett voice is really it has a lot more. Like it's like if George Lucas was John Wayne.
Yeah.
Like it has like a swagger to it.
Right.
It's a like, that's the thing. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like there's maybe the vulnerability, but like there is like a swagger to the Plinkett voice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mongolia?
I
Could be
can't
Mongolian. You never know.
I can't handle this new numbering. I can't be expected to learn a new numbering system at this
I
age.
can't say Tibetan because they don't exist anymore. They're the People's
Well,
Republic
not when
of
you're
China.
not when you're trying to get those licensing rights. They don't.
That's right. Plus, half our toys are made there.
Yeah, man. I can't be learning new numbers right now.
So it's the kids' fault for being dumb.
No, I'm frustrated by youth. I guess I'm old enough to be frustrated by youth now that they just know these numbers inherently. And I'm
Ugh.
like, no, well, I don't know. Then there's also the idea that Star Wars just means something to a different generation because it's mass market. Like for them, liking Star Wars is like liking Friends. It's just a popular thing that's been popular forever. And so they can enjoy it. And maybe it has some retro kish, but otherwise it's just a popular franchise. Whereas like for me, and even more so for you, it was like, no, this was a nerd thing that nerds liked and jocks liked pussy and fucking nerds like Star Wars.
So how are we going to handle it when that happens to the MCU? Because it's coming. MCU has stuck the landing.
Oh, that's gone. That was gone.
What happens? What happens after? How do we handle it?
Well, I mean, the only question would be when and if it becomes they start rebooting it or redoing different things, and now they're like the idea of like, oh, like rank your Iron Man movies, like 4 is number 1, and that's going to be the rebooted Iron Man, whereas 2 is number 2. Like that's where it would happen with the MCU. I mean, in terms of the nerd stuff, like if you haven't let go of the fact that the MCU is just like the biggest, most mainstream thing ever, then I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know if that is
no, but that's my point, is because it's also currently beloved, which means sooner or later the next generation is going to come for it, and we're going to hate them for.
That they will hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because most of all the Star Wars stuff is people liking it. Like it's just kids that like it.
But they're liking they're liking the wrong parts of it. Blah blah blah. But like
no, I mean
they're
like,
gonna come for they're gonna come for the Avengers. There's gonna be the hot new think piece of like why your uncle's an asshole for liking the Avengers.
Okay, totally. Yeah, sorry, I didn't pick up your pick up the cut of your jib there, because like I'm fine with people having Star Wars opinions. I don't care where they rank them. Like we can have a discussion about it. I don't really care where they rank them. I more care about the fact that I'm out of the loop on the nomenclature. But if you are talking about, yes, at a certain point, people are going to be like, actually, all the Marvel movies suck. Number one, it's already happening. Talk to Bryce. Number two,
all right. Number one, it's already happening. It is 3% true. 3% is 1 out of 22, right?
Yeah. Who knows which one it is?
I mean, I'm sure one of us has no public choice.
No public opinion. We'll see what Wonder Woman 2 does. If I like Wonder Woman 2, then I get another opinion back. We're only publicly, as soon as I need another to criticize the former. If Wonder Woman 2 is good, oh boy, do I got an opinion on one of these Marvel movies. If Wonder Woman 2 sucks, I have no opinion on that either. Yeah, Ultron also isn't great, but I think that's an inoffensive movie. Whereas another movie that I don't have an opinion of theoretically might be just actually really poorly written. Really poorly written.
Keep going.
Let's just say theoretically, there was one time a movie, I don't know what movie it was, but Brian and I were watching it, and then at the end of the movie, the lights went back on in the theater. We just looked at each other and we're like, that was awful. And we just both knew it. We just both knew it immediately because everybody, it was very clear we both watched the same movie.
I mean, unless we were having like dual hallucinations at the same time.
But yeah. Anyway,
hey,
kids.
Did you see the deep fake of Solo with Han Solo's face?
No, I didn't.
Here, vamp for a second. Let me find that.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, the MCU is definitely going to get revisited. I think the bigger question will be,
do you like
where they go with all that? Like where there's, the future of that looks like.
So they went back and they did deep fake Harrison Ford on Solo, and if they're doing that on YouTube, then I got to imagine we're not far off from this just being the thing. Like, and it looks pretty great. Like.
What was he saying?
It's only going to get easier and easier to put Harrison Ford as a younger person in more movies.
You have any idea what
Yeah.
We were not stealing for ourselves. We were hired.
You want to know what? I
by
did
Crimson
see that.
Dawn.
I didn't think that they looked all that different.
Crimson Dawn?
I don't know. Like you could definitely tell one is just.
Oh no. I can tell. I just didn't find it different enough that I was like, oh wow, that's a material.
But then all of a sudden it's like now it's like why would you spend money on any actor if you've already purchased the forever license rights of all ages of Harrison Ford to do whatever you want with, and why would Harrison Ford not allow you to pay him a few million more dollars for no more work?
Anything?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, and maybe this will change. Maybe this is an antiquated notion, but I almost kind of feel like you might as well, like, if I'm going to get into a movie, I'm going to get into it because the performance is really good. I think part of the reason why we are like find it interesting or exciting that Solo was deepfaked was because the movie wasn't interesting or exciting and the performance wasn't interesting or exciting. So now we yearn for the idea that maybe it could be made exciting if it looked more like Harrison Ford. Whereas like if Solo was awesome and was amazing and everybody loved it and it was like an iconic movie that definitely deserved a sequel, then we'd be like, oh, why would you take away such an amazing performance by Aiden Eidelreich or whatever?
Man, I don't know that we've had this discussion yet, but Solo might be like a top 5 Star Wars movie for me. Just because it was so similar to the expanded universe books. It was fun. It didn't take itself seriously. It reminded us that all Star Wars is schlock and bad, and but did so with a sense of joy. I might go to the mat on Solo being number 4 or 5 out of all Star Wars movies. Full stop.
I think that's objectively wrong, but still, it's your opinion, so you're allowed to have it. I don't know. I think the critical reception and the monetary reception, I think, is enough for me to say that opinion did not connect with the rest of humanity.
It's not a popular opinion, and I'm fine with it. Yeah.
No, I love that guy in Hail Caesar. Somebody pointed out he was awesome. He was one of the only really good things in Hail Caesar, to be totally honest with you. The Solo actor. And I didn't have a problem with him. In fact, I don't know. I liked Solo more than I liked Rogue One.
Yes,
but
that's a slam dunk.
I didn't particularly like Solo, and I do think that Solo left a lot on the table. I just think that it told kind of the exact same redemption arc as we got from the original trilogy, which it's like, okay, it doesn't particularly leave him in an interesting place either for a sequel or for to connect.
That is a good point, because if you have the redemption arc before you reintroduce him as an asshat, then what was the point? It's like he's supposed to be an asshat at the beginning.
Like why? Yeah, I don't know why he's redeemed at the end of that movie as opposed to like not redeemed. And also, I just didn't like the way that they handled Lando. I thought Lando to me
between
is just
you, me, and the
a
wall,
much better character.
I've never seen, outside of the character Childish Gambino,
yeah,
I don't think I've seen anything good from him, in my opinion. I've not
liked
liked
him.
Atlanta? He's good in Atlanta, but also he's good in a behind the scenes way, not so much the on
he is definitely the third most compelling character on Atlanta.
That's what I'm getting at, right? Is that as an actor, man, I can't believe I'm not able to access his name right now. What is it?
Donald Glover.
Yeah, there you go. I thought he was terrible in The Martian. I've never found him compelling in Community. I've never cared for him in any movie, anything ever. I like him as Childish Gambino, and that's about it.
I think it's telling in Community that he wound up falling in as Abed's sidekick, because they clearly wanted him to be a bigger character, and he is great. He's electric with Danny Pudi and the Abed character, but it's like Troy had to be orbiting Abed's energy, and the further they took, like in the gas leak season, they kind of break him off and make him his own thing, and he's like dating Britta, and it's flat. It's like there's no reason for him to be in any scene. So while I'm not willing to go as far as you are, there's a lot of Brian hot takes here today, but I'm not willing to go as far as you to say that there's not anything that I've enjoyed him in. I think you can definitely say that he is a supporting character actor that often gets cast in roles that are larger than that. He gets cast in like near lead or lead-esque roles where it's like, no, he's kind of just a glue guy. He's kind of just like a guy who is sort of like in the background doing a thing. Like he's got great comedic timing, obviously. I mean, a lot of his, if you've never seen his comedy stuff, it's really, really, really funny. His sketch comedy stuff. But yeah. I mean, like, that's a bold take, but I'm not going to say that you're wrong.
Well, and keep in mind, like, him as Childish Gambino is amazing. I've never seen anything other than pure electricity. And pretty much everything else I've seen just beige glue, you know? And it's like, especially because they keep casting him as characters that deserve to be a little bit more interesting and bombastic. I point again to The Martian. And it's probably not fair because I haven't seen all of Community, and I'm sure there are moments that are great, but everything I remember I've seen of Community, he's seen like beige glue. And
no, he's more than that. He's a double act with the Abed character, like, and they are really, really funny together. They are an electric comedy team in that show. They are an indispensable, when that show clicks at all cylinders, they're usually the center of it because they are the like animating force that you can believe in. That being said, like, if you look at even in Atlanta,
like you mentioned, he's the third most interesting character, which is a weird place to put your protagonist. Like,
now that, but also it's like,
but knowing that behind the scenes he's doing, you know, so much of the heavy lifting, that it's fine.
But also the other side of that is like, Arrested Development needs a Michael, right? Like, and Atlanta is a show that is far sillier than the and far more creative and ridiculous than the setting would lead you to believe. Like, it leads you to believe this is a gritty tale of hustling through the Atlanta music scene, when really it's like, it very often just takes these bizarre pit stops and centers around these really crazy things. And at the same time, Lakeith Stanfield, and I forget who the guy who plays Paperboy is, but they're also just great actors. I mean, Lakeith Stanfield has kind of become his own just sort of megastar. So I don't know. I think he's a great anchor in that show. So I wouldn't necessarily say like, oh, he should be to the level of cartoonishness as Paperboy or the Lakeith Stanfield character. But at the same time, he definitely gets outshone by two other actors on a regular basis on his own show.
I mean, dude had the opportunity to play Lando as Lando, but decided not to play Lando as Lando. Played him as cool guy Lando.
I mean, my problem with the Lando character is the script. My problem with the Lando character is that what the coolest thing about Lando, and why I think he is very deserving, maybe even more than Solo, of a prequel story, is that Lando is like a drug dealer who gets into politics because it's an easy way to wash money, and then realizes that politics is a lot easier than drug dealing, and becomes the mayor, and then like becomes the governor. And he's like, oh, I guess this is all the same thing. It's all just, you know, being bold and making the deal at the right time and knowing who to squeeze at the right time. And he just kind of finds himself in this position. And then by the time he blinks and he misses it, he's like, oh, wow, he's really competent. And so when he runs back into Solo's still dealing drugs. And he's like, hey, I'm the governor now. So I have to make governor decisions. Like, it's really cool that you're dealing drugs, and I'm happy that you're making a lot of money. You seem like you have some very interesting friends, but I'm just letting you know I now live in the governor's mansion because I'm a lot smarter than you. And I think that's what that relationship kind of is to me. But then again, that might be a lot of my own headcanon.
No, I think you're 100% right, I wonder how much of it is whatever. I don't want to be the guy that hates Donald Glover, because I think he's very talented at certain things, but they keep putting him in roles that I've seen other people play just a little bit more interestingly and bombastically, and he seems to be underreporting for duty every time.
He certainly is. He's got a laid back energy. And I don't know whether or not that's deliberate because he has a complicated relationship with his past in comedy. Like, and now he wants to be a different actor. He wants to rebrand himself as a different actor. But there's not a lot where he is like bringing that, Derek energy or the stand-up energy that
or
he
the
had
Childish
before.
Gambino energy, or
Well, even the Childish Gambino stuff, it's like, it's kind of dark.
I mean,
Like,
but
he
that's
doesn't
just
have
it.
a lot of fun.
It's
right?
dark, but it's intense, and it's
Yeah.
coy, and it's angry, and it's like the contrast and the volume is cranked up, and for some reason he just refuses to bring that to literally anything else I've seen. And so that's it's a bummer, because like I know I am aware of what he could pull off, and I don't know why it's his choice. Yeah, it's his choice, whatever.
He can do what he wants.
He could do
He's
what he
very,
wants.
very
He could do what he
famous
wants.
and very rich. And
Anybody
God bless.
anybody who is about to call in 1-800 hot takes, about to say, hey man, he could do whatever he wants, we agree 100%. He could do whatever
I love
he
Atlanta,
wants.
for the record. I love Atlanta. I thought Atlanta's
great.
second season was amazing. I can't wait for it to come back. If it is going to come back, I don't know if that's a thing. Have they ever shot that? Or
I mean, has there ever been a TV show that was good that wasn't brought back?
Probably.
Can't
I
think
would
of
guess
one.
so. Is that it? They all came back.
I
They
mean,
keep coming back forever. That's why Cheers is new this weekend. Oh crap! Do you have any big shoots this weekend?
yeah, we just did a thing over at Wizard Academy. Going to go over to the Salt Lick and say, "Whoa, that's some barbecue." Ah. It's a bit weird.
Are you working with the Salt Lake?
As far
Or is
as
it
I know,
with the barbecue guys that you got in town?
It's the barbecue guys that are in town. We shot 3 episodes with them. They wanted to do, let's go visit a place. I was like, Salt Lake is pretty good. Sort of kind of a last minute, like, oh, we should probably ask if they're going to be cool with us, shooting whatever. But in the meantime, we definitely went to visit the Whiskey Vault, and that was fun.
Oh, nice.
And then,
is that to shoot stuff or to just treat them to the full Austin experience?
No. Like they, in addition to the cooking stuff they do kind of like a we're on the road, we're on the go thing.
Oh, so you were shooting with them,
Right.
because
I
the
took them on a
collab-
tour
the collab
of that
stuff.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we're gonna shoot more Scam Nation stuff with Josie. It's really interesting to see the comments where people are becoming like protective of Josie because we did a human blockhead, and they're all like, "Hey man, I didn't like it the way that she clearly didn't enjoy that," and and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting line, right? Like, because people do just inherently like get defensive about any kind of
Child
about
labor.
any kind of child on television or on YouTube or anything like that. Like, it's I mean, but also it's like, yeah, hi, I'm her father.
Yeah.
So like,
also, imagine there was a third party And he said, "Hello, I'm Hollywood Joe. I would like to hire your daughter." And it's like, well, there's only one way we could do this properly, and that's to have me, her father, on set and approve everything that she's doing. Like, okay, what if we cut out Hollywood Joe and it was just straight up her father approving of the things that she's doing?
That's kind of crazy though, because from that perspective, you are probably going to be more inclined to be like, hey, these are the beats of a YouTube video, right? Like, you know, there's the moment where you're like, what is this? I don't think I can do it. Okay. Hey, this is weird. Oops, I did it. Hooray. Like, that's how a YouTube video goes. Like, these are the beats. This is the way that you need to put it together.
It makes, before you say the rest of this, it makes me a little bit sad to realize how unironically exactly on the nose you are. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. And that's the language I use on set.
Yeah.
is like, we need to
give me the this is weird.
Oh, will it? Oh, it did. Who knew?
And that's the thing, you can get out of her, because you can speak her language. She's great on camera. There's a million different reasons. But at the same time, if it's too real to the audience, then that is indistinguishable from Hollywood Joe putting her in a position where she doesn't want
she's
to
uncomfortable
be, right?
or whatever. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even thought about that vector. That's nuts.
In Hollywood Joe, man, that dude has some history, like stories of we need somebody to cry on the set of Lassie, so we're going to lie in front of this kid and say, hey, it's not working out. Go kill the dog. And then they take the dog around the corner and they fire a gun. And then they got the kid crying, you know? Yeah. And then, so it's like, it's not unwarranted, but also, I mean, at the end of the day, especially like if you're ever going to come at me for the human blockhead in a time where more people today, this literal day, than at any point in my entire life are performing the human blockhead in the form of a COVID test, then it's like, now is not the time to act like I'm committing child cruelty. Whatever.
I mean, look, I mean, the lesson is never really what they say, right? The lesson is why they said it, or an underlining truth. You know, it's like what is one of the great Meritisms, you know, right next to "you get the chat room you deserve" is take the chat room seriously, but not literally. Like that there's truth there. It's probably not exactly what they say. Like if they're like, you're boring, it doesn't mean you're boring, but it might mean you can tighten things up a little bit. It might mean that there's like a snappier kind of thing. So you shouldn't feel bad that you're like, oh, I'll never be interesting or good. But you might want to think about, you know, tightening up. And so I think that's number one, you're just in a no-win situation because it's your daughter. So it's like there's no, I don't, aside from,
it's so funny because like I view it as I'm in a no-lose situation. Like, sorry, excuse me, but I'm uncancelable and this is my daughter. So if you don't like it, why don't you get bent? Like.
Oh yeah. Well, I just mean in terms of comments, like unless the comment is Josie's the best. I'm so glad that there's more Josie on my screen.
Right.
Like then there's gonna be some like, I don't know if you should exist. Maybe you should evaporate by a stray sunray.
Stray sunray. That's Newt Gunray's cousin. It's
Stray
me,
Sunray.
Stray Sunray. Choo.
Childish Gambino featuring Stray Sunray.
Yeah, no, it is kind of funny though too, because the only way there's any of the gentlest of pushbacks, and let's be very, very clear, this was the gentlest of pushbacks, but the only way it exists is because they've spent 3 months now falling in love with her, and now they feel protective of her. And now all of a sudden they care. And now it's like, you bar scamming guy, I don't like Lando hanging around my new favorite 12-year-old on the internet.
And also it's that thing where there is the YouTube history of like, you know, in many ways, Hollywood Joe lives, Brian.
Yeah,
they are parents on YouTube, right?
No, what was the
Daddy 05?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a mistake. For those who weren't around for that, I was trying to explain my sentiment that I wanted to express at that time a few years ago was, yes, this is horrific. Also, this is how it has always been in Hollywood. Hollywood is horrific. But nobody was interested in that. No. They just wanted to like, sounds to me like you're defending these guys. And it's like, all right.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Sometimes you just got to punch out. Sometimes you just can't screw with it.
Yep.
It's just a scam, bro. Do you think Hollywood Joe, it would have been better if fake shot Lassie?
See, and then, look at this.
It's just
Sooth is doing it right now in the chat. He's saying like, no, Daddy 05 was different because of, and it's like no different.
It's just
no different.
We're gonna leave that there. In fact, I'm gonna demand we move on because I'm not having this episode again.
Fair enough.
So half done with the conventions.
Happy?
Very, very. You know, I wish they were more interesting, and so we had higher viewers, but the viewers were very good. They were about double our normal numbers when we're streaming. So you know, we were up toward 400 concurrents and stuff like that.
Did you have to alter for copyright reasons after your dust up previously how you presented stuff? Or?
No, because I was watching the unswitched feed, not through any network. Like the Democratic convention provided the unswitched feed on YouTube.
So you had like, explicit permission to share it and talk about it. And,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, normally the people that would be, you know, issuing a DMCA are rights holders. And at this point, it would have to be the DNC that would be issuing the thing. But they also have sent me an email saying, hi, media, here's how you can take our feed. If you have a satellite, connect to these channels. If you have whatever else, connect to these. And also, here's the unswitched YouTube feed. And it's like, cool. All right. And, you know, that was that. And I presume that the Republicans will do the same thing.
Sounds like the DNC put on a pretty good show. It sounded like most of their messaging was, remember when politics was respectable? And outside of that, I didn't hear too many other messages.
Everything is about Trump being the worst person who's ever lived and deserves to be evaporated by a stray sunray. In fact, that was the big crescendo for Biden is here's the deal. Donald Trump just gets a stray sunray, evaporates. Here's the thing.
I was saying, what if there was a giant magnifying glass in space? What if just a huge Fresnel lens? And what if it just happened to, you know, spin around, take a little lap around Washington, D.C.? And what if, whoopsie doodle, suddenly there's 300 pounds of fat burned onto the ground? Would it just... That's some of you may think I just threatened to assassinate the president, but don't worry, he won't be the president.
Prove it, suckers.
He won't be the president by the time it happens.
Biden hits his jetpack button and flies away. You'll never catch me. Yeah, you know, it was fine. He was good. he had like expectations that were sub Fraggle Rock. Like people were just kind of like expecting for him to be like
to walk up and be all like,
where's my mom? And so he instead delivered a speech like he's been in politics for 50 years, and everybody was like, yay! And they should be. It was a good speech, and he looked like a candidate and not a lifeless Bernie corpse. But
it was like at the base of it all, it was, who's a piece of shit? This guy. Am I right? I mean, like was there any, like Obama did a pretty good job. I mean, he didn't have to run against George W. Bush, right? So he was able to say,
but he actually ran against George W. Bush. Like that's the thing. Is like 2008, he really wasn't running against John McCain. He was running against George W. Bush and the fact that people were really upset with George W. Bush and the war in Iraq.
Right.
And so,
but I guess he's pitching a vision of the future in a way that Biden is not. He's saying,
yes,
no, this motherfucker right here, right now,
just get him out.
I'm just saying there might be a giant magnifying glass orbiting in space, and the president might have the button.
The thing that I thought they did really, really well last night was, for the first time that I've seen, they effectively set up a narrative of like bullied versus bully. They kept telling these stories about how Joe Biden had a stuttering disability. Joe Biden was bullied in school, but guess what?
Interesting.
Joe Biden fought back, and guess who the biggest bully ever is? Donald Trump.
We're not going to say who he is, but
we're going to
he
get
might
that bully.
Have pretended to be a billionaire for a long time, and then actually became a billionaire by political fraud.
Yeah. So I think that was the first time I've seen that really, really effective, or that kind of effective of a narrative be put out there that framed Joe Biden as the hero and not just the guy that needs to end the villain. But otherwise, yeah, I thought night 4 was really was good. The DNC had a hard job because no one's ever done that before, and they got better night after night after night because they were throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and seeing what stuck. We'll see whether or not the Republicans learn those lessons and things are tighter and the speeches are better for them.
So the RNC, I would imagine, this is me armchair speculating, and I'm gonna then toss to you to tell me why I'm wrong. I would imagine that their message has to boil down to everything was great, and then the Fire Nation attacked. And the Fire Nation is COVID. Also, we're pretty much defeating the Fire Nation. So if you want things they got great, if you want them back to great, vote for us, RNC.
Yeah, pretty much got it. Mix in a little bit of, you can't trust those rascally liars because they've been rascally lying to you forever. And we finally got control of our own party. Mix in a little bit of that, and you pretty much have the formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be about, I mean, based on the ad that they released right after the DNC ended, it was a lot of like, it was Trump's speech from 4 years ago, and then showing the visuals are all like the things that, he said was going to happen that did happen. With the end being, he's like, there's gonna be challenges, and that's like the COVID stuff, but it's like, we'll get through it.
That's kind of all they have to do is point to February of this year, point to all the numbers and say, we did it, we won, everything was great. Yeah, a disease happened. What, do you think it's going to last forever? No, you don't. You know it's going to go away. So what say we stick to the plan, people? And that's going to be it.
Yeah. And then a little bit of, they've always lied to you. A little bit of, by the way, their ideas are even more crazy than they were the last time that you voted for them. And yeah, there we go. The radical left is taking over. Joe Biden is a sentient corpse. And Donald Trump is your big chungus. Vote Big Chungus.
comes out, does a rap calling himself Big Chungus.
Big Chungus in the house. What you gonna do?
Big Chungus. Big Chungus in the house. Bigger than a mouse.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. In the PX3 episode that I just released today, minutes ago, I did there's one moment I thought it was very gross that Bill Clinton spoke at the DNC, because there's definitely like now unsealed testimony of one of the victims that has been credible about saying that Prince Andrew raped her. That says that
is that tied in with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff?
Yes. No. This is Epstein's an Epstein girl that filed a civil suit against Ghislaine Maxwell.
Of all the words to be known as, I'm betting she would prefer she not forever be known as an Epstein girl.
The Epstein girl, right? But she filed a civil suit against Ghislaine Maxwell, and in that suit, which was unsealed about a couple weeks ago, she says she saw Bill Clinton on the pedophile island that Bill Clinton says he's never been on before. And it's like, I think like with all that, I probably would have kept him off the biggest stage that the Democrats have. That being said, you know, much in the same way that I joke that there's only one man on earth that can make a Quentin Tarantino movie short, and that is Harvey Weinstein. So if you want to complain about long Quentin Tarantino movies, there's only one person that has ever been able to shorten his running time. There's you ignore Bill Clinton's political acumen at your peril. And he made a point in his speech, which was like, hey, Donald Trump was all about not wearing masks and having live rallies until stuff spiked in states in Texas and Arizona and Florida. Like, what changed? And I thought that was like a really credible point to pin Trump down on COVID, not on the you didn't listen to the experts at the beginning, because that's fog of war. And, you know, I don't think that the average person thinks that they could have solved COVID immediately. You might have faith in another party, but to not view it as you screwed up at the beginning, but your culpability is set when you flip-flop. And that moment that you flip-flop, that moment you start tweeting about yourself in a mask, that moment you cancel your live events and you cancel the RNC, that's where you need to make that famous and be like, July 2nd. What changed your mind? What changed your mind? Because you definitely were doing certain things before, and then you were doing certain things afterward. Make it a flip-flop issue and not a, like, you didn't do everything right from the beginning, because that's so complicated.
Do you think, and this is way out there, so feel free to say that would be wildly irresponsible, and there's no way anybody would do that on purpose. But is there any chance that having Bill Clinton on stage was in some way part of the political calculus? Is if people are gonna fuss over the hashtag #MeToo aspects of Bill Clinton, it would suddenly make hair sniffing look like a nothing deal in comparison. Like, was that throwing a little bit of red meat to the side?
I don't think so.
You don't think that was intentional?
No,
okay.
No. I think the Clintons and the Obamas are royalty, and nobody's going to tell them no. There's nobody in that party structure that has the sway. If Bill and Hillary and Barack and Michelle want to talk at DNCs forever,
then sure.
Then that's what they're going to do, because they got the stroke in that party. Now, if Bernie Sanders won and Bernie Sanders was running the party, I don't think any of them would be speaking. I think that he would be programming a lot of different people that weren't the Clintons or the Obamas, but not because even his political affiliation, just because he doesn't know them shit. He didn't get famous because of them. Everybody else on that stage got famous because of them on some level.
Yeah.
The Carters might speak forever, because like the Carters, you know, they're the Carters.
Man, how old?
Talk to Po Boy.
How old is Jimmy Carter?
You know, about 6 months younger than Biden.
Is that the fact?
No. Although Biden is older than Bill. Biden's older than Bill Clinton.
I believe that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Christ on a crutch.
No,
Donald Trump
somebody's-
is younger than Biden.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
that just every so often I stumble across that fact.
No, somebody made a joke about how Carter was younger than Biden, and I've never been able to let go of it. It's so funny.
Wow.
But yeah, no, Carter will always speak until he dies, which will be at some point in the next 500 years, because that man is just, I bet you
He's
like,
made of peanuts.
yeah,
Peanuts
he's just like,
don't die.
I buried Reagan, that son of a bitch.
Oh my God. I watched his widow die.
I watched all my enemies turn to dust. And you want to know what I did while their ashes blew across my eyelashes? I smiled, the broadest smile I've ever done. I'm super black-pilled fucking Jimmy Carter.
Did you ever wonder why Justin Amash never even tried? Because he knew the way they all do. Nobody will outlive me.
I build these houses because I'm so strong from digging graves.
The taller the structure, the deeper the foundation. So many graves go so deep. I feel like that's time for us
feel
to.
like super aggressive dark Jimmy Carter is the pinnacle of this week's night attack.
All right. Well, then in that case, then let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week, man. We love you.
Happy hour.
Seeing them all die. So strong. Digging graves.
Natty Tax
Peanuts.
Happy Hour.
Lots of protein.
Natty Tax Happy Hour.